Welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And on Instagram and Ravelry, you can find me as Toolizz for you, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry and Instagram. When I do remember to post, I'm Knitting in Our Jeans. And I almost posted a trip to Florida.
Almost.
Almost. For some reason, my husband got me looking at new boats, or new used boats.
For some reason, you have been looking at new boats for
a year.
It,
but he had me looking at aeroyachts.com. And they had a trimaran, and there was one in Connecticut, supposedly, and there was one in Florida. So we called them, and they said, oh, no, we sold the one in Connecticut. Well, it turns out the one in Connecticut became the one in Florida.
It was sold 3 years ago.
Yeah, they didn't update their listing. And until we watched this 45-minute video that the guy who's selling it had made, I was all for this boat. It's like,
mind you, this video was linked on the listing page. So I had zoomed through it because I was trying to find the layout of the boat. I was trying to figure out what the dealio was because they didn't post any layouts. And Dad had said he had watched about half of it.
And I'd watched about half of it too, but not where you talked about the bathroom.
Well, so we're just zooming
through.
And
then I went to Dragonfly Manufacturing to see what they had said about it. Well, this boat has been upgraded. Modified. Yeah, modified is the word. And there's only a 40-gallon water tank. Now, our boat has 200 gallons of storable water in 2 different tanks. We have been able to run with just 100 gallons, but when, you're taking showers, you're cooking, you're doing all, you use water. And the boat we were looking at in Florida didn't have a water maker. Mm-hmm. So you would be going into the dock constantly.
Yeah.
Like every day or every other day, probably every other day to get water. And we know,
especially with a 40-gallon tank,
that things happen. So we've been down in the Caribbean, British Virgin Islands, I guess 11 months after one of their hurricanes. And there were many places that were just opening up again to accept transient boats. And they didn't have water. They had not rebuilt their hose lines. Luckily, we were on a charter boat that had a water maker, so we had fresh water. Well, that's a problem. So if storms have taken out the equipment in the area, you may not be able to get water. Secondarily, with the COVID pandemic, there might be other cases or other instances where you don't want to go on shore, that trying to stop by and get water.
You're not allowed to go on shore.
Well, you're not allowed to go on shore, and therefore you can't get water. And without a water maker, you're in deep trouble. Mm-hmm. So, yes, in normal everyday life, this boat might be okay if you were doing coastal hugging. And
or
you could
day sails, which is what they have been doing.
Well, what they've been doing is they've been chartering it out with a captain to, 4 hours or 8 hours. And so people would go out and play on the boat, put the little floaties out, go out in the floaties and come back. Mm-hmm. So 40 gallons is fine. And they've got 2 refrigerators to hold the drinks. So, yeah, we almost made a flying trip to Florida this week, but no, I guess not. Oh, well.
There will be very excited, y'all.
There will
y'all don't even
we were almost on a plane.
She was almost booking tickets this afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't think y'all understand.
Well, my husband said, go ahead and check this out and make sure we can get a car so we can drive from the airport. And I had it all together. Didn't click the button and say, yes, go ahead with the tickets, but...
Good.
So, yeah, the bathroom situation wasn't good at all. No, not good.
No.
Even the steering, the cockpit, they had arranged this permanent tent, square tent, in the cockpit so that you never could unzip it and be, like, free in the wind. It was a
permanent bimini
installation.
Weird.
I mean, I could have put up with that because it would have kept me from being splashed.
Yes.
And you can just have it with screening.
Yes.
So that's fine. You know, it does cut about half of the breeze, but it's okay. But the bathroom situation wasn't good.
No.
It wasn't good at all. And then the 40-gallon water tank. 100 gallons, I might have been able to go with a wet bathroom. Would have been a little tough, but it would have been tough because you walk through the bathroom to get to your bed.
I know.
So if the floor is wet, then your bedroom floor is wet. This is not optimal. And then thirdly, it didn't have as much storage as our boat has. And you do need storage. If you're going away for 2 or 3 weeks, as we have done.
Yes.
And we're talking about going away for a month or more.
Oh,
maybe
really?
Maybe not this summer. But
I was about to say, this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
I want to get down to the Chesapeake. I want to get down and see my brother, you know.
Oh, I thought we were driving that one.
That's for a quick breeze through.
Okay.
I want to sail the Chesapeake. Anyway,
but I'm excited to hear the convincing of Father on this one.
No, so anyway, and
it's gonna take a good 3 weeks of like reiterating. I think
he will go with it because it's still coastal hugging.
I think it's gonna take 3 weeks to get him on board.
I think he would be fine. Anyway, this Dragonfly, which is the brand of the boat, is also very shallow. Mm-hmm. So we could get into a lot of places that we can't get into now with our present boat. Right. It also made visiting my brother Rick much easier since he is on a navigable river, but the river banks have been overgrown. And
right, so you could have actually, like...
We could have been at their dock.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So that was really a plus for me. I didn't mention that to Richard, but that was a big plus for me that you could get into Rick's dock. And my brother doesn't have a boat, so he hasn't started thinking about, cutting back the crud that's around the dock, or not crud, it's growth. It's bush, trees, flowers, and chirping birds. But there's also things that are submerged at the sides of the river that, with 4-foot clearance, you'd be fine. We draw 6'9", so we would not be fine.
Right.
We would have to go across the river and be at that marina and rent a car, borrow a car. They'd have to come get us. And you feel like someone's lost uncle when you're having to be ferried all over the place.
I was gonna say, unless it's your daughter and you have to go to Granger.
Well, I have managed to take you all over, Guys Acres. That doesn't bother me.
I just remember a few.
The other thing is that if we start cruising more regularly, we might get electric bicycles, and then you can move around very easily.
I'm just amused because I remember the 4th of July of, we need you to come and get us. Well, yeah, I'm coming to get you for dinner. Or, definitely you're coming and hanging out with us. And Dad goes, no, we have to go to, is it Granger? No, it's not Granger. It's,
it's a boat place.
The boat, we have to go get boat parts.
That's
right. And I was like, sure, we'll go get boat parts.
Of course we have to. But it's not Granger. It's something that begins with a D, I think.
But I was one of those things where I was like, okay. Cool.
Well, it's 10 minutes away.
It was just very funny because I was like, I'm coming to get you in like an hour. We're set for dinner. And Dad was like, no, you have to come get us now. And I'm like, I just got out of the shower.
We need boat parts.
I know. And Dad was like, well, I want to do this work tomorrow. I was like,
because it's going to rain.
Yeah, and so we can do it tomorrow.
This was important. This is whatever it was. I know,
important. And it was fun, but it was just that he hadn't told me. Right. Like, because you all had arrived the night before. Yeah. But I was like, I just got out of the shower.
But so it's a little rugged. You need to be able to get to the grocery store. And so Uber and Lyft have been really helpful up until now. But obviously with this quarantine and pandemic, not as many people are driving.
Actually, you should be okay this coming up summer with Uber and Lyft. They have very tight regulations about keeping your mask on and drivers having masks on at all times in the vehicle.
Fine. But in Jamestown, it was tough to get an Uber.
Right. So
we wouldn't stay on that side of town anymore. No. We like Dutch Harbor, and there it's easy to get. I don't know why it's easy on one side of town to get an Uber and not on the other, but be that as it may. Anyway, I almost was taking pictures for you all from Florida, but that's not going to be. I'm sorry.
Almost.
Yes. Shall I show them?
Yeah, go for it.
All
How
right.
goes the? Oh my word! You have a whole third floor of a building.
I do, and it's so funny because I really don't see what's developing until I show it to you all on Sunday. This is amazing. So this is, I've marked it off. This is where I'm trying to get straight across.
Okay.
Right there, that line right there. I have achieved it in this box.
Yes.
So I'm
looking at it in the screen.
Yes. So I'm hoping this week I can get it going all the way across. And what I'll do is I'll stop at that point and wait till I show it to you all and then move it up in my screen.
Good idea.
So, yeah, it's right across. So I've done that. What have you been doing?
So I got my second vaccine this week, which is great.
Yes.
So as we all know, last week I finished that baby blanket so that I would not overheat this week. And I had my plan was to finish this Pengweeno. Unfortunately,
it knocked her off her feet.
So if you haven't gotten your second vaccine yet, there is
a report
there for primarily with Pfizer vaccines. I have heard,
but we had it with Moderna.
You had the absolute bone deep fatigue. I thought you guys had more of the fever.
Your father had fatigue, and then it attacked his foot. What we've decided, and some physician, the guy who is in practice with Dr. Rubin, who was his roommate in medical school. Isn't that so cute?
That's adorable.
It is adorable. Anyway, we talked about being double vaxxed and all that kind of stuff. He says, how did you do with your second shot? I said, well, interesting. I get migraines, and for me, my normal temperature is 97 something. So for me to pop a temperature of a 99 to 100, I actually have a fever.
Yeah.
So I said, so I got a fever, and then I got a headache, but, it lasted 36 hours. I took the Tylenol, and it helped. So my husband, on the other hand, has neuropathy in his foot, and it went after his foot, and he was in pain for 3 or 4 days, and he had this lethargy. Like, he could,
it's starting
whatever your weekend, or whatever you normally get, may be what you get a reaction in.
Because so after the first shot, I told you all I did have a migraine it's a very distinct one for me, compared to regular migraines. The pain signature is very distinct. It's very much across the forehead and like a claw type of feeling. And I noticed it with the first shot, and I had it with the second shot, though I did confirm with both friends who are medical professionals as well as the medical professionals who were there giving the shot that I could take Excedrin for the migraine, and I did, and it did help. So it wasn't as bad, but it didn't cut it completely.
It doesn't.
But then the second day, it was exhausting to sit up. Like, I could feel the energy draining from my body just having to sit up at my desk at home, like trying to work from home. I don't know how else to explain how.
She texted me that she felt like she'd been run over by a Mack truck.
I had the living daylights kicked out of me, and then I was run over by a truck. And then the day after, it more like felt like I had just done a really, really, really tough workout the day before. So it was like that, just like, I feel good, but like, just off and just tired. Friday, I felt a bit less tired. I fell asleep early again, though. And like, I fell asleep knitting on Friday.
Sleep knitting?
No signs of sleep knitting, but knitting in my lap on my couch. So I woke up at, 3 a.m. and then toddled off to bed.
Yeah, but Saturday you went shopping.
Saturday I did. I did go shopping on Saturday. That was the wrong arm, Mom.
I'm sorry, but it was light.
That was light.
Okay.
So.
But that's a reminder.
Yes. So my arm doesn't hurt to do anything except for when it is tapped. Like, I can rub it, and it's okay. It just has a twinge. And I think that'll go away, like, tonight or tomorrow. But yeah.
That was also a reminder of what happened to her yesterday.
Yes, which we will get into. But I did want to just remind everyone, get your shot.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. And if you can take Tylenol, I can't, but if you can take Tylenol afterwards. It does help.
I took the super Tylenol.
Yes. So, make sure you get it. If you have to get 2 shots, get the 2 shots. If you can get the J&J, get the J&J. Get whatever you can.
Dr. Fauci says, get whichever one you can.
Whichever one you can get in your arm, go for it.
Because that will let us get out of these masks sooner.
Well, and it'll let us be able to socialize.
As more people get these shots, then at some point they're going to say that we can get out of the masks.
Yeah.
And I find them annoying, particularly when I'm doing physical therapy, because I'm steaming my glasses. You know.
So, I mean,
it doesn't bother me if I'm walking around town or something like that, but when I'm really working up a head of steam, I'm steaming everything.
But yeah. So that...
And I had an endoscopy.
Well, and so, with the whole saga that is me and getting the vaccine, apparently, because apparently my immune system decides to actually work when given antibodies, I am just now starting the I-cord edging of the entirety of it. So it's got little sleeveys.
Oh, it's so cute!
Little sleeveys. And it's got everything, so it's all picked up. The bottom is a little bit shorter, but I ran out of the dark green yarn.
Okay.
So it's fine. No, I didn't, run out. But, like, it's just 2 ridges less than it should be, as per the pattern. But I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think it will be.
And I think this will still fit a 2-year-old.
I think so.
So, I should be able to have it done and dusted by next week and be able to send it off, for the nugget.
Yeah.
And then I can get working on more baby knits because I have so many small humans to knit for and I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, you'll get through them. If I can finish my gloves and this,
yes.
Because I actually had a dream about knitting an adult garment.
Oh, my word.
I think I had a dream about knitting a dress.
Wow.
And I woke up and I said, I'm losing it. I'm absolutely losing it. But I'll show you how I'm doing with my baby knit. I didn't work on my gloves because I was waiting for the expanded pattern. Boy, do I have the expanded pattern. I didn't want to, because it's a pay for thing. Yeah. But anyway, that's great. And so now I'll be able to see it really well.
I don't know how many copies I made of it that big, but I made a few
lovely
things.
Lovely. So, that big. Even bigger is fine.
I think that was the biggest one I think I made.
This is great.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes. So
I know you have a whole other.
This big. So, I'll be able to use this.
It took a while to figure out the configuration of, like, where the corner was in the machine.
Sure. All the time. So anyway, I was saying that I had an endoscopy this week, so I didn't have as much energy Tuesday or Wednesday. Which was
kind of funny, because both of us were texting each other on Wednesday going, like, if we had been in the same house.
I wasn't telling you how bad I felt, because you felt so bad.
You don't have to, because once you tell me you have an endoscopy, I remember how you feel after you have an endoscopy. So, like, if we had been in the same house, Dad would have had to have vacated, because it would have just been us going,
moaning. This time I found I was affected by the anesthesia more than I had been. So obviously getting older does make a difference. And this was at a new facility. Same doctor, new facility. And I think they may have used more air, because my whole gastrointestinal system was upset for at least 2 days, if not 3. So anyway, I'm back to being myself. Thank goodness.
Good.
Because I was trying to figure out what in God's name was going wrong here. Just a little, not even surgery, just procedure. And the reason they do endoscopies is because I was born with a ring in my esophagus that causes a stricture. It is, I don't know, it's not Schlater's, it's Schmidt's or something. It's somebody with an S. And anyway, what it can do is it can have a problem with some kind of acid splashback. I have no idea. And if you end up with little white spots, that's Barrett's, which I've had on and off. So they do this endoscopy every 2 or 3 years to check on little white spots because they can be precursors to esophageal cancer. So one of the reasons I do take my
acidophilus?
No, the anti-GERD, anti-gas, acid reflux.
Yeah.
And whatever the pills are. Oh, Nexium.
Thank
Nexium.
You. I was like, they're purple.
Little purple pills, Nexium, is to help prevent the acid splashback. I also have a hiatal hernia, which doesn't seem to bother me, except maybe that explains the acid splashback. I don't know that it's worth fixing. The doctor hasn't said anything about it getting it fixed, so we're going to leave it as it is. Anyway, that's why
all needed to know all of that.
Right. But that's why I get the endoscopy every 2 or 3 years. It's nothing that is critical.
It's just a thing.
It's just a thing. So I didn't work on my gloves, but...
I know. I'm so excited about this. Waffles!
Waffles. I called them waggles just a little bit ago.
Yeah. And I was like,
so
you mean waffles?
We are working on the second arm.
But those feet look like they're going in the right direction.
Yes.
Did you have to redo it?
I did.
Oh.
So I don't think the written instructions are actually correct.
Okay.
For either one. Because she tells you to pick up a certain way and then pick up another way. So, for example, on the right foot, she tells you to pick up stitches near the pearl bumps. Fine. That, she says, is needle 1. Then pick up going this way. That's needle 3. Pick up going this way. That's needle 2. Now knit needles 1 and 2. Well, you would be purling them if you're going from 1 to 2. So obviously this has to be 1 and the one back here has to be 2. So you're going in a circle because otherwise you're going to have pearl, either knitting on the inside, which is pearl bumps, or yeah, I had to pick one, either 2 or 3 to be needle 1. And when I knew what this leg had turned out to be, I realized that 3 had to draw in the leg. So this had to be 1 and then this had to be 2. So it took a little thinking about it. So I had taken this leg out and started again. What was wrong with it? Was I looking at the pictures? I got this leg then correct, so that this was needle 1, this is needle 2, this is needle 3. So this is why it's shorter, because it draws the leg in. So the inside third needle has to be the short one. So if you have the instructions, you know what I mean, because you're doing 7 or 8 rows on the other 2 needles and then knitting in a circle, so that draws the leg in like this. I have posed the ears because mine were going all over the place, but you still can like pose them going up.
My father just decided to be snarky and wanted mom to show me the Yoda ears.
Anyway, we now have nice puppy dog ears.
They're so cute.
And as I said, I'll be able to finish the second arm tonight, and I'll stuff it. Knit Stars. They had a little blurb about how to remember how to Kitchener. And I'm going, I need to see this. You hold your knitting like facing you. You have the 2 needles up close to the end. You have your yarn on a needle, and you look at the needle closest to you. And it says, that's a knit stitch. So you say, okay, I'm taking my needle and I'm going into that stitch as if I were to knit.
Okay.
Now, drop that first needle down, look at the second needle. I'm looking at pearl bumps. That means you go into that stitch with your needle as if you were to purl. And what you would do is first you go into the first stitch on the first needle as if to knit, and then you go into the second stitch as if to purl, and then you go to purl the first stitch on the second needle and then knit the second stitch. And so you run back and forth like that. Anyway, but they did not do any fancy preparation. Like usually when you're starting a kitchen, you got to go through it this way and then you come back and do it another way. They didn't do that. That way it prevented getting an ear or a point on the end of the Kitchener. She just started off with, go into that stitch, God bless you, as if to knit. I went, oh my. Because once I get started on that first stitch, then I know whatever you do on that first stitch, you do the opposite on the second one. And then you go to your second needle and do what you had done on the second stitch, on the first stitch, on the second needle. And you keep doing this like cross thing. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Look, I've done Kitcheners on the arm. I've done Kitcheners on the feet. It's like, it changed my life.
I'm glad. So if you need a Kitchener help, look it up.
Knit Stars. That were great. I forget the woman who was actually the spokesperson. Someone I've taken a class with, I can tell you that much. But anyway, so this is Waffles. And he will have a sweater. He or she will have a sweater. And in fact,
they will have a sweater.
No, there's only one of them.
Right. They is also singular, Mother.
Well,
it is also singular.
I understand that. I'm not getting into that. He or she, and I think the child will decide.
Yes.
What gender this little dog is. I'm going to find. I think we can find some.
Oh no.
Red. How about red?
You could do red.
How about a red sweater? Would that do?
I mean, it's quite colorful.
Well, it's for a baby, you know? Don't babies like colors? I think that would be nice. And this is Barocco Vintage.
Yeah.
It's a machine washable blend.
Yeah. I'm
going to go with it.
Go for it.
I mean, babies like colors.
I know, Mom.
The parents may not like the colors, but I like the colors.
I think the mom will think it's adorable.
Yeah, I think so too. She thinks I'm cute anyway.
I'm just glad that she loves you almost as much as I love you.
That's very sweet. Anyway, I think it goes with the body. My husband was looking at the pattern, and he said, that's not the color that they used. I'm like, no, I know that's not the color that they used. Just because you buy the pattern doesn't mean you have to use the same colors. She said, well, they use dog colors. I said, I'm sorry, I don't know any gray dogs or get gray tweed dogs. So, I'm sorry. I actually bought this to make this toy. And he goes, what color are you going to make the sweater? And I said, I don't know yet. And I thought about a dark gray.
Yes. But now you really just want to poke at Daddy, don't you?
Well, I have a dark gray.
You do have a dark gray.
But that is not washable. We would have to find something that's washable. I mean, definitely washable.
Okay.
And a lot of these things don't have tags anymore. I think I'm going with red.
Okay.
The heck with it. It's for a little girl. Tiny baby girl. I think red is fine. And that's the way it is. And I'm not going yarn shopping.
No.
So anyway, I've been busy. And luckily I had the fluff so I could stuff her.
Mm-hmm.
And I am quite pleased. I'm very pleased with this. Did you see the box of the baby stuff that came in?
No.
So the onesies came.
Okay.
And they also have the gift enclosures.
Okay, good.
So, for all of you who are wondering what this
Waffles
looks like, there is the dog color with gray tweed. And it's kind of a reddish cardigan.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Father, fine, I did the color. It's red. They're more of a maroon, but it is what it is. So yes, I've been quite busy.
So, in my infirmed state this week, I have also cast on a sock.
Oh!
So, I have cast
There's
on
your
a
yarn
sock.
that I want to do a sock. I've lost a sock in the house. that's this.
Ah.
So now I can take this and I can make another matching sock.
Ah.
And I'm going to do my toe up, insert heel, afterthought heel.
So these are actually not for me. These are going to be ending up for my cousin. Yeah.
I like the color combination.
Well, it's the self-striping I was going to make that cardigan out of for the little one.
Oh.
So it's got...
I never would have thought that would have come out like this.
I know, and that's why I didn't like it for the cardigan to use with the burgundy. Because every other stripe pad, like every other color in here, works with it.
Not this.
Not this. That electric blue is just too electric.
But I love the electric blue.
I know. So, and I think she'll like the stripes. I think she'll like it in general. So I'm making it for my cousin. And so I have had this at my desk, which was really good. For meetings and stuff this week. I made it a little bit bigger because she did say it was a little tight, the size I had knit before. So we'll just make them slightly bigger, which is fine. Because, I mean, I don't think 4 stitches will be too much, you know.
No. I don't think so either.
I think it'll be enough to be a little bit more comfortable.
If all she said was that it was a little tight and could she have more ease, I think 4 stitches
she
would
didn't
do it.
say as much. She mostly just was like, it was a little tight, but not as tight as the others, which were the 60 stitch ones. So the 64. So I went up to 68.
That'd be fun.
Also because I did 2 increases instead of 1.
You don't want socks to be over large because then they come off. Then they do scrunch around in your shoe or your slipper. Right. And it becomes really uncomfortable.
Right, which is why I'm not doing them on the 2.5s, which is what the 60s or 64s on 2.5s are a little loose. I'm okay with them because I've made 2 pairs like that, but I did it kind of on purpose. And I had her try those too, because they were fit tests.
Right.
So, I have that, and then I've also been still working on my sock for myself. So we're working along, moving along. I hope to get I'm going to finish this I-cord tonight because this I-cord just needs to get done, and if it's not done in one sitting, or, essentially one sitting, it never gets done, or it just sits there looking at you forlornly.
I miss you. You all have a little bit left to go on me. Just finish me. Mm-hmm. And then you get sooner to get through the other baby knits and then on to adult knitting. I couldn't believe I had that dream. Once this is done, I will swatch for a few things because I do need to swatch for a few sweaters. Mm-hmm. Baby things. And then I think I'm going to focus on that brioche top and finish that for myself. Okay. Next. Although I do have that blanket over there to be done. You do. And, it's in squares. So some squares are easy, some squares are hard. And that might be a good thing to do because it's really portable. So that's something. So have maybe a sweater and then a square. Maybe. Once you get your other sock done. Yes, that's very frustrating. And I've lost my one of my skeleton sweaters. It's okay. It's skeleton socks. Yes. It's okay. Sorry. I've lost an entire pair of socks. Don't know where they are. Oh, no. Yeah. Don't know where they are. They're probably somewhere in the apartment, but I can't find them right now. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why I'm now using net bags for my socks, because they can go into the washer and then they're easy to find, to hang up and drip dry, and then I fold them together and put them in my drawer, because otherwise something happens to them in the washer and they go make new friends. Yeah, I don't know where this pair went, so we'll see. We will see what happens with it. Yes. But what Mom was alluding to that I did yesterday, because I now am essentially fully vaccinated. I mean, yes, you should wait 10 days. But I am
as of right now, I am 85%
Yes.
covered. I will be up to a 95 or something in a week.
I agree.
So, I am just as covered as you would be with the J&J vaccine, is what I'm.
Yes.
So, we all know that I have recently fallen in love with Rothy's shoes. So, they released their new collection on Saturday, which was yesterday. And they have a store exclusive, which of course was the purple floral.
It's gorgeous.
So we went, my friend Tanya and I went in to Soho via Uber, which is how I know Uber regulations. And got these. They're so pretty. I'm so happy. They're really comfy. I'm a little worried for like this who I am now, because like, am I never gonna wear heels again? No, probably. I will probably wear heels again. That should not be something I'm concerned about, knowing me. But
comfortable flats are also a gift from God. So.
Yeah, so I'm excited about them.
But I was referring to the second half of the day.
So we went to Soho, and then we came back to Queens because we decided that we wanted to go kind of on the Brooklyn Yarn Crawl, which started yesterday. So what we did was we came back to Queens, picked up my car, then went to Starbucks, because you're not supposed to take your mask off in Ubers, so you can't like have a drink of water or drinks of a Starbucks beverage. So, but in my own personal vehicle, we could. Yes. So, decided to drive down there. And
both she and her friend Tanya have been vaccinated.
Yes. Yes. And both of our parents, both sets of parents have been vaccinated, which was also key, because if they had not been vaccinated, we still probably would not have done this. So we went to Brooklyn General Store first.
The reason I didn't go is because Richard and I were uncovering our boat.
Yes.
Which took all afternoon.
And I wasn't sure if we'd be able to convince Daddy that it would be okay just yet. Yes. I figured we'd give him another month until we pushed you going to a yarn store. Yeah. I have a plan here, y'all. So, outside.
I love this.
I know.
And she found some beautiful cottons, linens, and stuff to knit for summer. I'm so jealous. So, outside of Brooklyn General, they had a display of this Illuminati Sabri, which is 85% organic cotton, 50% alpaca. It's a fingering weight. And this is going to become the Noctuidae. The butterflies sweater that Catherine, who owns Noctuidae, Brooklyn General, designed. Here, I'm pulling it up. And actually, the photo is of Felicia, who owns String Bang. So but it's going to be in 2 colors. Let me see if she posted the 2 color. She didn't, as far as I can tell, it doesn't have the 2 color in the photos. Let me see if I can find a 2 color. But the 2 color is just as pretty. I might, on one of the sets of butterflies, do color, like a 3rd color. But I haven't really decided. I'm still looking for the... I don't see the 2 color. Well, there is a 2 color. Like, it's written for both multi color and just 2 color. And she had a 2 color in the shop window, which was beautiful. And that was, that I think is more kind of what I'm thinking, maybe, is to do like get a like mid-tone or a light blue or something. Yeah. So that one is also longer, I think, than the prescribed pattern. This is more of a dress sort of length. Yeah, I love that.
I know. Excuse me. Let me see. Let me see.
I need to get through some more of this yarn before I start buying something else.
Yeah. No, it looks like... Oh, did the full body chart. Okay. Interesting. But it came out in January. It's really beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I really love it. I've been looking at it.
Felicia has on.
Yeah.
Or she has a version of it, yeah.
Well, no, she had Felicia be her second model.
Right. Very pretty.
So that's Catherine in it. And it's got the lovely little detail on the sleeves. I just fell in love with it when I saw the 2-color version. So I think I'm going to do it in this. And I think I'm going to really love it in this cotton alpaca. It'll be warm, but it'll also be light.
Yes.
The cotton will make it light, but the alpaca will keep it warm. So I think it'll be really nice to do a colorwork sweater.
I would love to do that as a dress in those that yarn, because then it would be easily packable and just throw it over your head and go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something to think about.
I know. You cannot buy yarn.
I know. You have to wait.
I have to wait.
And then, because Brooklyn General always gets me with their remnants little baskets at the front door, there was this, it's 1 1/4 and 1 3/4 yards of this beautiful, like, silvery gray linen.
Oh, it's so pretty.
And it's so soft.
Feels great.
And then there's this linen in a berry cobbler. It's a 1/2 yard. I don't typically buy their yardage. I typically buy remnants from them, just because of how I end up picking up fabric from Brooklyn General. I don't know why. I think it's just the whole shop. I get a bit overwhelmed when I start looking at their fabric.
If I need 2 yards, I buy 20. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And
they suck me in, and it's gorgeous stuff, and I buy way too much.
I was gonna say, you don't do that when we go to Stitch Sew Shop down in Alexandria. You buy maybe a yard extra.
Well, I do buy extra. I'll buy at least a 1/2 yard extra, and I can tell you why. I was making a Vogue pattern for an Easter dress when I was 10 years old, and it had gores in it. It was a gorgeous, and it was 2-color. And so inside the pleated gores was a 2nd color, and I was short by 1/4 yard.
Oh no!
And so we had to go back to the store and had to buy 1 whole yard in order to get the pattern piece on. Now, if I'd had the extra 1/4, it would have fit with what was left over.
Right.
But I didn't want a seam in this pattern piece. I had to buy a whole yard. So, I mean, my mom and I both looked at the back of the envelope to see what did you need, and the pattern was off. So I always will buy an extra 1/2 yard. Always. Because I was lucky they still had the fabric. And so I never want to have that happen again. So I do buy extra, but I don't need to buy tons extra.
Right. Which is what you do end up doing at Brooklyn General. I think it's the vibe of the shop, which is great. Like,
yes, it's a lovely place.
It's a lovely shop. We've met Catherine at multiple events. We're friends with Carleen, who works there. We're friends with Emily, who works there. But it can be really enabling.
Yes, it's a great place.
It is.
Do they still have their sofa?
In the back, I think.
Because they used to have a place where you could just sit and ponder what you were going to do.
Not during COVID times.
Right.
Not during COVID times.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. And I know that they're working on getting their backyard fixed up for the summer.
That makes sense, because it really was a place to gather.
Yeah. Well, and I know Felicia at String Thing is also working on doing some summer stuff in the backyard, probably of String Thing.
She already had her backyard set up.
Yeah, to do it. So we went to Brooklyn General, and then we ended up we we were in Brooklyn General, and it was getting to a point where it was like, okay, either we have to go back to Queens because I have to get here for dinner, because Mom had already told me that they were expecting me, like the dad was kind of expecting me for dinner, so.
And we were having ribs.
So I knew I had to be home, or I had to be here by around like 7-ish.
Yes.
So we were already hitting a point where I was like, all right, I gotta start winding my way. And we were like, all right, well, we have to, essentially, we can go back 3 different ways, 2 of which essentially bring us by a string thing. So if there's parking within, we'll go around the block twice, and if there's parking, we'll stop.
Okay.
Because that was the rule, and that was the rule we had when we went to Brooklyn General even. We were like, all right, we'll drive around, we'll give ourselves 2, 1, 2, and then we'll move on. Because this was also Tanya and my first time hanging out since last March. So, like, we knew we were going to be exhausted just from, like, socializing. I know. Right. I even put on makeup, guys. Like, I put on eye makeup.
I miss putting on makeup. I really do. I like putting a full face on. Because it's like I arm myself to go outside. It was so funny. I was FaceTiming Ben at the time when I was doing it. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going to go socialize. Tanya and I are going to go do something. And he was like, I'm not going to say you can't because you had the second vaccine and you feel fine. And because of the studies, you are technically like 85%. I was like, I know. You know all of this.
And I know because she's had her vaccine for more than 2 weeks, and because we're going to wear masks when we're not in, like, the car together. Like, when we're in the Uber, we're going to wear masks. But, like, when we're in my car, we're not going to wear masks because we want to get Starbucks. And so it was very funny because he was like, well, what are you doing? I was like, I'm putting on makeup. And he was like, I'm sorry. Run that by me again? And I was like, I'm putting on makeup. I couldn't find my eyelash curler, though. I'm going to have to get another eyelash curler.
Oh, no.
It was very frustrating because I couldn't put on mascara because I have such long eyelashes that unless I curl them, the mascara hits the glasses and you get scraped and it's no good. So I had an eyeliner on. I did the under eye. I was like, oh. And then I was like, wait, I don't even have to think about a lipstick, though, because I don't want to get... And he was like, then you don't have to worry about staining your mask. Good job. And I was like, I know.
I miss lipstick.
I know. So...
I have such a terrible time with dry lips now because I'm usually well provided for with lipstick, and now there's no lipstick. It's really, I really want to get back to makeup, and especially for the summer because... My foundation base is actually a tinted moisturizer that has SPF 30 in it, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's enough for me not to have any sun on my face. Mm-hmm. So if I do my makeup, like my moisturizer and my tinted moisturizer, I'm covered. And then I wear a hat.
Right.
And it's lighter than sunscreen. Sunscreen to me is very oily. Mm-hmm. And at least the stuff that doesn't react with my skin and is SPF stuff enough to work. But who knew my makeup? I mean, I've known for years my makeup was sufficient, even down in the BVIs. So I'd like to be able to get back to makeup and looking like something. Like so you get up in the morning, take a shower, do your makeup, go downstairs, have breakfast, and you're ready to go. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we ended up getting a spot over by String Thing. So we went and we saw Felicia, who was so funny because she hasn't seen me, obviously, since I cut my hair. And so she was like, you were trying to be all slick and, like, coming in here like we don't know you. Which was really sweet to see her and, like, her reaction to the hair. Because she has only known me with the long hair, which is really funny to me because, like, people who I've known since college, or I've known, like, Cassie, I've known
for, at all lengths.
Yeah, I've known for, God, I think Cassie and I have known each other now
since you were 12
or 11. So, like, 20 years now, which is weird to say aloud, but great. Like, me going back to this isn't weird,
strange,
and isn't like something they have to get used to. it's just another haircut that I have. But then I have friends who have only ever known me with the long hair, and who were like, was this always the plan? Were you always going to cut it? Like, you have great hair. And I'm like, yes, I know. Thank you. But this is way more, apparently,
it doesn't
what I
hurt.
do. Yeah, it doesn't hurt, which is the best.
How's your head, well, other than the shot, has your head felt better with it being so short?
I think so. It's hard to tell because the storms have come in.
That's true.
The storms
So anyway, go back to the arm. Why the arm hitting?
So I'm trying to pull up the pattern I was looking at. So we were looking at yarn, and my friend Tanya had pointed out this yarn from Periwinkle Sheep, specifically in this elderberry color, and this is the summer blend, which is 50% merino, 24% cotton, 15% linen, and 10% silk.
Sounds so luxurious.
So it is and then I got also a skein of the modern blue.
Because we don't do anything one color.
Well, and I might actually, but I don't know yet.
Right.
So I was looking at this, and I was like, well, what is it if it's...
You know what I would have done? I would have bought 4 of these and one of those, so I could go kind of either way.
Well, I can go kind of either way. Because this is 320 yards. So I've got 900 and something in my hands right now of sport
and your waist
weight.
is shorter than...
Yes.
Yes.
I am shorter waisted
here than you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, high-waisted things on normal people are...
fine for her.
Are natural waist for me, because from my waist to my under boob is shorter.
4 inches.
Yeah. From my waist to my, I think my highest, to my high butt, or my full bust, is about, well, right now I think it's probably about 5 inches, because as I work out more, it drops slightly. It varies between an inch, or for an inch, so it's either 4 to 5 inches between my full bust and my waist, which is short.
Yes.
We were watching a video earlier today that Abby Cox, who's a dress historian, put out, and she was talking about how she tight laces her corsets, and she does
historical dress.
Yeah, in her historical dress, because she's squishy. She has a long torso. She has to extend most of her patterns to account for it, and that is why she can tight lace, and it doesn't affect her breathing, and it doesn't, and why she can actually get the reduction that she does.
She was saying that she can tight lace and still have room for snacks down her
corset. She can, and if you have watched her videos with her corsets that she's wearing, she does stick her hands down her corsets to show you she has room, and she does. She has a squishy bone structure, and just the way that she is proportioned, she can do that. There's another dress, a historical costumer called Costuming Drama Noelle, who is not as squishy as Abby, who is much more, I think, solid like I am, and so her ribs don't, not her ribs, but like her ribs and her abs don't really move, so she doesn't shrink all that much when she corsets.
And so for her, in order to get that hourglass shape, she'll build out the top and build out her hips.
Yes. And that's why she also prefers the 1880s, because of the bustle.
Right.
She prefers a bustle. But that's just to say, like, you all actually have probably been on this journey with us about this short-waistedness, right along the times that I've figured this out. Because I can either do very long, or what for normal people is, mid-hip becomes my low hip, or I do a crop kind of length.
Which is why I would need 4 skeins.
Yes.
Not 3.
Right.
So. Which is why I have
I know. So, I had thought, we were talking, and
as you do.
Yes. And I had shown this sweater.
Yes.
And this is the Center Point hoodie, I think is Center Point Popover on Pearl Soho. And it's beautiful. And it's got this no, it's paid for pattern. And it's made out of a linen silk blend, I think.
Very pretty.
And I don't particularly want, it's linen quill worsted by Pearl Soho. And I don't particularly want to make it out of the Pearl Soho yarn. So I was thinking that it would be beautiful in this.
It would be.
Problem is that this is for a worsted / Aran weight. This is a sport weight. I would need twice as much. Like, I would have to hold this double. And I decided that that's not worth it.
Well, check the gauge.
The grist won't work, Mom. That's
Okay.
164 to 100 grams, and this is 320 to 100 grams. Just the grist won't work.
Okay.
So, because I did. I thought about it. So my thought, so I was like, oh, but that would be so great. And Felicia comes over and goes, what would be so great? And I showed it to her and she goes, oh my God, that would be great. That would be great. And it was on my right arm, thank goodness, because I was like, I'm so glad that was that arm and not the other one. She goes, oh, because that was a vaccine arm. I was like, yeah. But I think that would be so cute.
Sweater math. And
I could, but I could also find other yarn for it.
Or do sweater math.
Yeah.
Because you certainly have yardage enough. You have twice as much yardage in this as this.
Right, but I don't have the yardage for that in this. I would need 1,300 yards.
How much does this call for?
That calls for 1,300 at worsted. This is 980.
Right. Okay.
960.
Which is why I would have gotten 4.
Well, I thought about it, but I also didn't want to have... I think I would have needed 5 skeins of this in order to do the math, and she only had 3 out, and I wasn't sure.
You didn't want to send her downstairs.
Yeah, exactly. Because it wasn't... It was sort of towards the end of the day. People were still coming in, so I didn't want to take time that way, because I can always call.
Sure.
Or message.
So you haven't found a pattern for this yet?
Haven't found a pattern for it. I did get the coordinating
she also
skein.
wanted to know where your mother was.
Yeah, so the best part about any of these is when I go places and they know my mom. And of course, so Felicia asked about Mom, and I told her about how Mom had gotten a new knee and the vaccine and the haircut. And so, she was like, "Oh, she's ready. She's gonna go do some stuff this summer." And I was like, "You bet she is."
This week.
I know. Y'all don't even understand how close she was, y'all. Oh yeah, and it was very funny because Felicia was like, "I am so ready to see your mother come in with a good old tan," and I was like, "Felicia, we are see-through." And she goes, "I mean, I'll take some red. I'll take some lobstering. Anything that shows she was out in the sun."
And
out on that boat enjoying it. Right.
I put sunscreen on, so
but it was just very funny.
I may get a little bit more ecru. Anyway, I can't wait to see Felicia.
I know.
We are working on getting the boat ready.
Yeah, so. But it was just very funny. And I know she was saying that, hopefully we'll be able to all gather again for
I hope so.
Rhinebeck. So that'll be fun. That'll be a good time. But yeah,
We're just doing things in her backyard.
Yeah, being able to gather again. Because this summer, Daddy can't say that you can't go out.
I know.
It's so exciting.
My knee is getting much better.
Good.
As I do more and more, it does better.
We did 2 around the block and you weren't even grumpy.
Well, I know, because I also done the boat yesterday. So it really is a matter of... Some of physical therapy said that action is medicine, and it truly is.
Okay.
I need to get off my butt and on my bicycle and stuff like that. And so if I'm active every day, it does better. As I lose weight, it does better. No weight loss this week. The procedure knocks my digestion out, and it just is a mess. Mm-hmm. So we're back on track. We can be back on track.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully... We'll go back to losing weight this week. I'm pretty sure we will. Not a problem. What else?
I think that's about it.
So we'll see what trouble I can get into this week.
Y'all don't even know the trouble she's already gotten into this weekend.
We were almost in Fort Lauderdale on Tuesday.
And that's only the half of it. But I'm going to finish this I-cord and weave in some ends. You all weave in those ends.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to you next week. Bye.